Thank you for joining me for this week's leadership success tip. I am so glad that you could join me this week. I am streaming just a little bit early because I am preparing to go speak to some graduates today who completed an entrepreneurship program. But I still wanted to jump on and talk to you for a couple of minutes about perspective, because perspective is everything. And you've heard me talk about how we have to make sure we have the right perspective as leaders and as aspiring leaders, because what we see or how we see what we see impacts the way we interact with the people we are leading. It makes the difference of if we view those we lead as our dream team or if we think they need to be replaced. It makes a difference in guiding our responses, whether we will respond calmly and focused and with intentionality, or if we have a response that will cause us to make a mistake and lose valuable leadership currency, which is time and trust that will take time and trust to rebuild or regain. So perspective is extremely important. So I want to tell you this story really quickly. Earlier this week, I had a lot to do. I used this method called time blocking, which I teach in one of my courses, where I have time allotted in my day for certain activities. And so throughout my day, I plan tasks based on those activities. And so I had a lot to do that day, and I was going to get it done. And so what ended up happening is I had to go get some supplies from really one store. And when I went to that store, it was so busy and the wait was so long that I ended up leaving. I became impatient. I waited like 20 or so minutes and hadn't been able to get what I needed. Went to another store that was on the way to where I was going and waited another 20 or so minutes to get what I needed. Then, which put me behind by like an hour. So then I began working when I got to my office in the embassy, and some other things came up which took me off schedule. And so by the end of the day, I only accomplished half of the things that I wanted to accomplish. Now, for someone who's task-oriented, that can be extremely irritating because your mind can go. And so for me, I'm task-oriented, so my mind was going like, man, I had all these things that I needed to get done but couldn't get done, and my mind started listing all of those things. And so as my mind was playing those things out and listing what I didn't get done, I began to feel frustrated. I began to feel angry, at no one in particular, but just angry and frustrated and irritated. Then I recognized what I was thinking, or how I was thinking about what I was thinking. I was aware of my own thoughts. And so I began to then shift my thoughts right then. I began to think about, okay, here are the things I did get done. And so I started to say them out loud. Today I accomplished this, 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 and this. So I started listing out loud the things I accomplished. And as I did that, I noticed my mood changed, my feelings changed, everything in me changed back to the more positive perspective that I had before I started thinking about what I didn't get done. So here's the lesson. Because remember, I said it's all about perspective. It's how you see what you see, not just what you see. And so the same number of things were accomplished that day, no matter how I thought about it. The same number of things didn't get accomplished that day, no matter how I thought about it. That dynamic didn't change. But what changed is what I focused on. I focused on the accomplishment instead of what was not done. And so in a leadership position, I'm going to ask you, how are you looking at what you are looking at? What is your perspective on what you're seeing? Are you looking at just what needs to be done? Because as leaders, it's easy to see what needs to be done. Are you also seeing what is getting done so you can celebrate your progress and keep yourself in that positive framework so you can interact the way you need to? and avoid unnecessary mistakes. So, let me tell you this one last thing. Perspective can be the thing that helps you manage the pressure of leading or cause the responsibility and pressure to be too much. I'll say it again. Perspective can be the thing that helps you manage the pressure of leading or cause that responsibility and pressure to be overwhelming and too much. And you can choose it. So, the final question. What things are you looking at that you need to look at differently? All right, so that's it for this week. Now, for all of you who are teachers aspiring to become principals, I have something special, specifically for those teachers who are called specials teachers. You know, those teachers who are teaching art, music, PE, what people will call non-core classes. Next Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern in the private Facebook group for the Principals Challenge, I am doing a live 30-minute session on how you can become an instructional leader. Don't let anyone look down on you or discount you because you didn't teach ELA or math or something like that. No matter what you taught, it's still valuable, and there are certain things you can do to make sure you feel confident and comfortable and knowledgeable when you are leading instruction for a school. So join me next week at 5 o'clock for that free 30-minute training. Everybody else, I'll see you later. Remember, I want you to be successful and lead like a champion. Bye-bye.